facing warnings from Red Wall Tory MPs of a voter backlash over his sacking of Lee Anderson. What's that message? What's your take?
Well, Sunak's got himself in the middle of a row about Islamophobia. What I find odd about it is that I don't think there was any need for it. Was there a big outcry against the comments until Lee Anderson was suspended, had the whip suspended? I don't think there was. I think he's picked a fight with the right of his party, and a lot of MPs are pointing out, inevitably, that they're getting a lot of concern from constituents saying, you know, we agree with Lee Anderson. So the right is going to have a fight about Islamophobia, just as the Labour Party has a fight about anti-Semitism. I think it's strange timing from Sunak, and I don't think it's very smart politics.
Ava, is there a smart way he can steer his way through this?
Well, I mean, the row doesn't really seem to be about the comments themselves. The row seems to be about Lee Anderson's refusal to apologise. So suspending the whip seems to be because he was acting out of line and, you know, they're a bit worried about controlling him or their ability to control him within the Conservative Party. I mean, there's a lot of talk at the moment that Lee Anderson now might join the Reform Party while he's suspended. I don't personally see that happening. Do you think that's happening? I can't quite see the movements there yet. I think he'd like to hold on to the Conservatives
I think it's
a little bit
what
longer.
you said about controlling, because when this is why I have always doubted Sunak, right? And as the first British Prime Minister of colour, you'd have thought he would have actually been more... explain his position. Lee Anderson was made Deputy Chair of the Tory Party when they knew he is a firebrand gob on a stick, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost as if, and I take your point, they would have known what this guy was like. I thought he did it to keep the Red Wall on side. Well, he's now absolutely alienated. He should... I mean, he hasn't really even made it obvious to me whether if Anderson apologises. Lee Anderson ain't going to apologise. I suspect Lee Anderson will say there are many people who believe in that. I don't agree with the words, I would say that, OK? But there's nothing wrong with highlighting a problem that people think existing without being sacked from your job, is there?
Well, no, because, I mean, the sort of... The disgust that people feel about this comment is it's like the slippery slope that we've been viewing for the last couple of years now, where we've gone from Sadiq Khan is Muslim to Sadiq Khan is the London Muslim mayor to Sadiq Khan is an Islamist.
Absolutely.
And I mean, like, that slippery slope, because it's happened gradually, you sort of woken up one morning and realised, actually, we're saying a pretty racist thing about the mayor of London.
But you see, this is my argument, and I want to tread very carefully, but I do want to say, any form of racism is fundamentally wrong, and the way you've just laid that out is absolutely right. If there are concerns, it's how you put it. You talk about how this has been a slippery slope. We've had all these discussions about anti-Semitism that has gone unchecked for years, and I read an article the other day that said that these two things, Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, are going to be central to the next few months and the election and everything. Maybe Sunak has got the answer, but to me, he looks as if he's jumped as ever. I'm going to give Suella a job because I want to keep her on side. I'm going to make Lee Anderson. I'm going to sack Lee Anderson. To me nowadays, Sunak is reactive politics, and that's not the way to be.
Well, I agree, and I think actually there's a problem with language here, particularly because, I mean, the two terms are wrong. Islamophobia means fear of Islam, which, you know, I think you can be entitled to be afraid of Islam. That's not a racial thing. And anti-Semitism is the wrong term because Palestinians are Semites too. But that's maybe just being a bit pedantic. What I find odd about Lee Anderson's comments is that he was actually trying to sound sensible. He was asked whether he thought Muslims had taken over the country, and he said, "Oh, I wouldn't go that far." And then he said these remarks about Sadiq Khan. So I think what's happening is we're trying to sort of police language in a time where everybody wants to say it like it is. And someone like Rishi Sunak doesn't really know how to handle that. And it's not the worst thing Lee Anderson said. He said many more barking mad things.
And whether he'll apologise is now going to be the big subject of debate, I'm sure, today, and then what the Conservative Party decide to do with him if he doesn't.
My bet is he won't.
And he'll probably remain suspended for the party, and we'll see what steps he makes next. Shall we